Hello Candles, welcome to Candela Learnings. My name is Albert Bonney and today we start a new chapter. The human eye and the colorful world around us. Now, before learning this chapter, I never really gave so much thought about my eye or any eye for that matter. But after learning this chapter, I have started to realize something. What an underappreciated organ our eye is. Let me give you a small trailer about what I'm talking about. On the screen here is a simple question. Which of the following three images is not a human eye? Answer is pretty simple. It is option number C. It looks like it is not a human eye. But this will lead into two important questions. If this image is real, then whose eyes are those? Question number two, why don't we humans not have this eye? Let's first answer the first question. On your screen here, you will see two animals. One is an animal that you ride on a lot, and another is an animal that you consume a lot. It's a horse and a goat. Next time you see a horse or a goat, look very carefully into its eyes and you will see that they have a rectangular pupil. This leads us to the second question. Why don't we have a rectangular pupil? To answer this question, let's do a small thought experiment. Imagine if I'm a human, I look straight and I have 180-degree vision. So if a lion is coming from behind, I will actually have to turn back and look. That's okay. Now imagine, now I'm a goat. Now a goat is probably on four legs, and what a goat does most of the time is look down. Now if I'm a goat and I have the eyes of a human, and if I'm looking down, and if a lion is coming from behind, I'm dead. There is no way I'm going to survive this. So as a goat, it is important for me to look down but still be able to see something that is coming from behind, and that is where our rectangular pupil comes into help. With the rectangular pupil, the goat and the horse has a 270-degree vision. That is, it can see from there till here by looking down itself. Now we humans don't need it because we stand on two legs and we have very agile bodies, so we can always turn. Now I'm sure you are starting to appreciate what a wonderful organ our eye is. So let's deep dive and understand what happens in our eye. When you look into these two pictures, one is a picture that is on the right that you have always seen, a normal simple eye. The picture on the left is something that you probably have not seen before. That is what happens inside the eye. So I want you to focus on the picture on the right. When you look into that picture, it's a beautiful eye, isn't it? You'll see two things. You'll see the white part and then you will see the brown part, that is the pupil. Two questions. What is the white part? To answer that question, focus on the left hand side picture. You will see a part around that eye known as sclera. Now sclera is the white part of the eye that provides structure to the eye. It is what holds the pupil there. Now the second part. What is the pupil? What does the pupil do? This is what we are going to explore in the next 2 minutes. Now, to understand the structure of the eye, here is what we are going to do. I have a torch and I have my eye. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch on my torch, and when I switch on my torch, as the light ray goes to the eye, I am going to follow the light, and wherever the light touches, we learn what it is. Are we ready? Okay, let's start. I've switched on the torch. The light has gone and first met at the cornea. What is cornea? Cornea is a thin membrane through which light first enters. Now, if you touch your eye, you will see that your eye is not flat. It's actually bulging, isn't it? Who gives this bulge? It is the cornea. Now, the most important part. and this is something that comes up a lot in your question papers. It is at the cornea that most of the refraction of light happens. So where does refraction happen? It is cornea. Now the light has reached the cornea. Where does it go next? It will next go to the pupil. You know what pupil is? The brown and the black part that we all have. What does the pupil do? The pupil regulate and control the amount of light that falls on it. Let me give you a fun little experiment to try this. Here is what I would like you to do. Next time you are with your best friend, take a torch and without telling them, just light it on their face. Two things will happen. One, they will be really mad at you. But that aside, second thing, you will see that their pupil will suddenly become small or big depending on the light. And that is proof for you that your pupil adjust and control the light that enters into the eye. Once this is clear, the next part is iris. What does the iris do? The iris helps the pupil to control the light. So iris is a muscle, a muscular diaphragm if I may, that helps the pupil do it. What is the next thing? It is the important part of our lens. That is the crystalline lens. It is a fibrous jelly-like substance. So it's not solid, it's like jelly. Now, what our lens does that most other lenses in the world don't do is it is able to adjust the focal length depending on where the object is. So that is a speciality of our eyes, that it is able to adjust the focal length. What helps our lens adjust this? To understand this, it's given on the board here. It is the ciliary muscles. What are ciliary muscles? Ciliary muscles help in modifying the curvature of the lens. So depending on where the object is, the curvature of the lens will be thin or thick. Now this is a very interesting point which we will explore more in our next session. So tune in for the next session. Now the light has passed our cornea, it has passed the pupil, passed the lens. The image is still not formed. So where is the image formed? In the retina. Retina is a place where the image is formed. Now, retina is a delicate membrane and it has a lot of light sensitive cells. And I'm focusing on that word, light sensitive cells. So those cells will get to know when light comes. And what it does is it will convert that light into an electrical signal and send it to the brain. Now here's the most important part, and this is something like a wonder for a lot of people. The retina forms inverted images. But isn't that a point of wonder for all of us? That when I look at something, I don't see it inverted, I actually see it how it is. But now I'm saying that inside the eyes, it is creating an inverted image. How does this happen? Well, let me tell you. It is through the optic nerve. The electrical signals which has the inverted image is taken by the optical nerve to the brain, and it is our brain that converts this inverted image back into how we normally see it. And without the optic nerve connecting the eye and the brain, this will never happen. Now I'm sure you are able to appreciate what an eye is. So let's do a quick revision to quickly touch base on what are the important points that we did in this particular session. When the light comes, it will first go into the cornea. Remember what the cornea does? Yes, that is where most of the refraction happens. Then the light will reach the pupil. Now the pupil will regulate the amount of light that enters. Who helps the pupil do this? It is the iris. Now the light will enter the crystalline lens. Now the lens will adjust its curvature depending on where the object is. Who helps the lens do this? It is the ciliary muscles. Now the light will finally go and create the image on the retina. On the retina, it is an inverted image. Now, how do we convert this inverted image into how we normally see? It is done by the brain. Who's connecting the retina and the brain? Of course, it is the optic nerve. Now, I believe you can fully appreciate the beauty that happens in our eye. No one knew that so much happens in our eye when you're just normally looking. In the next section, we will focus more on this magic that happens in our eye. So, tune in for the next session. Till then, thank you and see you.